I'm Lieutenant Kevin Lowry, the Master of Ceremonies. I would like to welcome everyone to today's Master Cutterman ceremony honoring Master Chief Brandon R. Stracener. Before we begin, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome some of our distinguished guests. Captain Mary Ellen Durley, Commanding Officer, Coastal Cutter Healy. Captain Jed Boba, Commanding Officer, Base Seattle. And Commander Ken Burgess, Seattle Naval Engineering Department Head. I would also like to welcome Master Chief Stracener's wife, Gina, his son, Clay, his mother-in-law, Jean, and his aunt-in-law, Dorothy, as well as recognize his family who are unable to make it to today's ceremony and will be enjoying the video recording back home in Phoenix, Arizona. To be a Master Cutterman not only signifies time sailed in Coast Guard cutters, but it is an accomplishment that represents the personal fulfillment of professional training and sea service that are associated with the seagoing Coast Guard career. Personnel who have achieved this distinction stand out as significant contributors to the Coast Guard's heritage as the country's oldest continuous operating seagoing service. Instituted in 1974, the Cutterman's insignia is used to recognize Coast Guard members who, in the tradition of professional mariners, perform duties afloat in keeping with their grade and rate, and who endured the rigors and dangers of sea duty for a substantial period. It signifies their commitment to our core values, and those values demanded of the Coast Guard of those who go to sea. The insignia is a visible means of recognizing those qualities and identifies the wearer as a professional mariner. The design, divided into three areas, is representative of the special qualities shared by Cuttermen. First, the wheel and waves, which connect us to the much broader heritage of the sea itself. Second, the five-pointed star that symbolizes the 5 years of sea duty required on board a Coast Guard cutter to earn permanent Cutterman status. And finally, the shield, representative of our service itself, which reminds everyone of our relatively small service's distinguished, extensive, and unbroken seagoing tradition in both times of war and peace. After the selection of the Gold Ancient Mariner in 2006, a discussion began about the possibility of recognizing the Coast Guard member with the most sea time. In 2007, the Master Cutterman program was officially approved along with the design of the certificate. Cuttermen with 20 years of sea duty now earn the title and award of Master Cutterman. The certificate incorporates images of cutters associated with their career and is signed by the Commandant. Boatswain Paul Dilger was the first Master Cutterman and was officially recognized on 27 July 2007 after completing 26 years of sea duty. Today, we will be recognizing Master Chief Brandon R. Stracener as he becomes just the 66th person ever to earn this distinction. Today, we recognize Master Chief Stracener's accomplishments and the sacrifice of many years at sea dedicated to serving our country. In his 26 years in the Coast Guard, he has proudly served almost 21 years on board 8 Coast Guard cutters. His saltiness has forever left tarnish aboard the vessels on which he has served. These cutters include Polar Sea, Confidence, Aspen, Sequoia, Stratton, the Raymond Evans, the Richard Dixon, and the Mighty Healy. Presenting the Master Cutterman certificate this morning is Captain Durley. Captain Durley has served in 7 cutters, commanding 3 of them, the Thunder Bay, Alder, and the best and largest cutter in the Coast Guard, the Healy.
Good morning, distinguished guests, Captain Boda, Commander Burgess, and all of the esteemed Coast Guard Cuttermen that are on board here today. We honor Master Chief Brandon Stracener's tremendous dedication and sacrifice while spending almost 21 years of his Coast Guard career at sea. I I thank all of his shipmates for attending this morning, but I want to especially thank Gina, Clay, Jean, and Dorothy for sharing your husband, your father, your son-in-law, and your nephew-in-law with our Coast Guard family. All of us know what it is like to serve at sea, and to support the love of our families is the one that strengthens our Cuttermen, and we rely on it to perform our daily duties and our missions. What a glorious, beautiful day we have here in Seattle to be conducting this ceremony on Polar Sea, the place right here where Master Chief Stracener started and began his first tour afloat. And in the background, I can view that mighty Healy over there, getting fixed and repaired in this extenuating dockside period right before our next upcoming mission. Healy, where Master Chief Stracener achieved over 20 years of his dedicated sea duty in the Coast Guard fleet. That honor to be eligible here today to earn this Master Cutterman certificate. Thank you, Master Chief Stracener, for your sustaining, repairing, and maintaining all the red, white, and black hull cutter platforms over the past almost 21 years today. As an operator and a deck watch officer, I know no cutters get underway and perform missions without the hard work and efforts of our engineers. And I know firsthand, Master Chief Stracener, you were a vital Team Healy shipmate that made our missions a success. Master Chief Stracener, please join me up front and I will present your certificate.
Master Chief Stracener's certificate reads, "To all sailors who have crossed the deck of a cutter, from Ghosts of the Revenue Marine to the United States Coast Guard, here ye may be, let it be known, that MKCM Brandon R. Stracener has stood the watch, laid before the mast, made rounds, checked the navigational lights, monitored engine temperatures, launched boats as required, balanced the electric load, provided rations, and otherwise attended to the watch, quarter, and station bill for all evolutions required to guard the coast and defend the nation for 20 years. Accordingly, all Cuttermen with lesser sea time and those unaccustomed to venturing offshore shall show due honor and respect at all times." Signed, Admiral Carl L. Schultz, Commandant, United States Coast Guard.
And Master Chief, just one more gift that you get. On behalf of the Chief of the Office of Cutter Forces, Captain Michael Devanzo, who also is one of these esteemed Master Cuttermen, he said, "Welcome to the club. You are now number 66, and I've brought his coin that he would have been here to hand to you and shake. I will do that now, and then after we do the presentation of the coin, Master Chief Cutterman and Master Cutterman number 66, you will have the deck."
Thank you, Captain Boba, Commander Burgess, Captain Durley for putting this on, and especially thanks for Lieutenant Lowry for setting it all up. I don't have a lot to pass. I just have to pass a thank you for the Healy crew and all the past crews that I've served with. Without your assistance and your guidance and whatever and the mentorship you provided, I wouldn't be where I'm at. So, and that holds true not only for Master Cutterman, but also making Master Chief, as I had mentioned during quarters when I left. Otherwise, I don't have much else to say. Thank you again, Captain.
You're welcome. Thank you.
In his first act as an official Master Cutterman, Master Chief Stracener will now present 2 permanent Cuttermen insignia, recognizing 5 years of cumulative sea time to 2 members of the Healy crew. As I call out your name, please report front and center. DC2, Lauren Anderson. And BM3, Nicholas Protich. On Tuesday, 27 November, 1787, Alexander Hamilton's work, The Utility of the Nation in Respect to Revenue from the New York Packet, was published in the Federalist Papers, and stated that a few armed vessels judiciously stationed at the entrances of our ports might, at a small expense, be made useful sentinels of the laws. In doing so, he laid the framework for our sea service. The Revenue Marine and the Revenue Cutter Service, as it was known variously throughout the late 18th and 19th centuries, referred to its ships as cutters. By general usage, the term cutter came to define any vessel of Great Britain's Royal Customs Service, and the U.S. Treasury Department adopted the term at the creation of what would become the Revenue Marine. Since that time, no matter what the vessel type, we have referred to our largest vessels as cutters. As lengthy as our cutter fleet's service history is, so too is the record of service by those officers and enlisted members who gave them life. Those who wear the Cutterman insignia carry on in the fighting spirit of those who sailed aboard the original revenue cutters, the Surveyor, Eagle, Hudson, Tampa, Bear, Harriet Lane, Spencer, Ingham, and all other cutters past and present who performed heroic deeds. Healy's 32 permanent Cuttermen represent over 304 years of sea time. As I call the names of those Healy permanent Cuttermen present with us today, each will come forward and prepare the ceremonial waters for the Cuttermen insignias by dipping their own insignia into the water and then adding a teaspoon of salt, symbolic of the Whitehall Fleet, a teaspoon of sand, symbolic of the Blackhall Fleet, and a piece of ice, symbolic of the Icebreaking Fleet, into the seawater within the ship's bell. Collectively, these insignias, salt, sand, ice, and seawater, are symbolic of the combined depth of experience, varieties of tales, and everlasting connection shared amongst all Cuttermen, past, present, and future. EM1, Michael Novotny, 5 years, 4 months. Lieutenant Commander Matthew Stevick, 5 years, 10 months. ET1 Charles Durest, 5 years, 11 months. MKC Jesse Owens, 6 years, 10 months. ETCS James McCardle, 7 years, 1 month. OSC Matthew Mallory, 7 years, 5 months. MKC Breton Hensfeld, 7 years, 6 months. Lieutenant Commander Philip Baxa, 7 years, 8 months. EM2 Kevin Blackmore, 7 years, 9 months. Chief Warrant Officer Christopher Morer, 8 years, 8 months. IT1 Hannah Good, 9 years. SK1 Vincent Rodriguez, 9 years, 4 months. MK1 Betty Mason, 9 years, 9 months. Commander Jessica Worst, 10 years, 1 month. CS1 Randall Torsky, 13 years, 1 month. Captain Mary Ellen Durley, 14 years, 3 months. MKCM Mark Hewlin, 16 years, 9 months. Master Cutterman Brandon R. Stracener, please commit the permanent Cutterman insignias to the sea. One of our more recent Cuttermen, Lieutenant Commander Stevick, will now read the Creed of the Coast Guardsmen.
I am proud to be a United States Coast Guardsman. I revere that long line of expert seamen who, by their devotion to duty and sacrifice of self, have made it possible for me to be a member of a service honored and respected in peace and in war throughout the world. I never, by word or deed, will bring reproach upon the fair name of my service, nor permit others to do so unchallenged. I will cheerfully and willingly obey all lawful orders. I will always be on time to relieve, and shall endeavor to do more rather than less than my share. I will always be at my station, alert and attending to my duties. I shall, so far as I am able, bring to my seniors solutions, not problems. I shall live joyously, but always with due regard for the rights and privileges of others. I shall endeavor to be a model citizen in the community in which I live. I shall sell life dearly to an enemy of my country, but give it freely to rescue those in peril. With God's help, I shall endeavor to be one of his noblest works, the United States Coast Guardsman.
Attention! DC-2 Lauren Anderson, Coastal Cutter Laguerre, and Coastal Cutter Healy. MBN-3 Nicholas Protich, Coastal Cutter Douglas Monroe, and Coastal Cutter Healy, please step forward and retrieve your insignias from the bell so that our Master Cutterman, Master Chief Brendan R. Stracener, can present the Cutterman insignias for permanent wear. To all sailors who have crossed the deck of a cutter from the Ghost of the Vigilant, Massachusetts, General Green, Argus, Scammell, Active, Virginia, Diligence, South Carolina, and Eagle, and all those spirits of our service from the Revenue Marine on through our current day United States Coast Guard, whoever ye may be, know that these Cuttermen have stood the watch, laid before the mast, made rounds, charted courses, managed the plant, launched boats, and otherwise tended to the watch quarter and station bill for all missions required to protect those on the sea, guard against threats delivered by the sea, and continue to protect the sea itself. Please take your place in line and join the ranks of your Cutterman peers. As of today, you are permanent Cuttermen. Now, Master Chief Hewlin, our Silver Ancient Mariner, will address Healy Cutterman.
that in the spirit of our creed, you honor those who came before us and revere that long line of expert seamen who, by their devotion to duty and sacrifice of self, have made it possible for us to be members of a service honored and respected in peace and in war throughout the world. Duty now demands that going forward you continue to help develop the next generation of Cuttermen. Do so with the character and virtue and the spirit of our core values, while also understanding that you will continue to face adversity as long as you are at sea. Remember, as a Cutterman, in those times of adversity, we rely on other Cuttermen to help get the job done, and that as Cuttermen, we shall endeavor not to be the weakest link. While we all wear the Cutterman's insignia with pride, we'd be wise to remain humble, as failing to do so is only inviting the sea to humble us. As Cuttermen, there may be times when there are circumstances beyond our control. Yet, as Cuttermen, we must still complete the task. It is during these times that humility and fortitude learned in a career at sea are brought to bear. It is with great pride and supreme confidence that you will bear the responsibilities of a Cutterman with conviction and purpose that we present you with the symbol of our calling, the Cutterman's insignia.
This concludes today's ceremony. Thank you for joining us. There are light refreshments available just to our starboard side. Thank you very much.